Okay, folks, we're back again. We changed our position a little of the filming because we were in the C4. And my wife told me to change my shirt because it didn't look good. I always listen to my wife or I'm in trouble. Anyway, so now the wine has been open for about a half hour or so. And the amazing thing, this wine is getting better.
Oh, this
It's
is
opening
incredible
up.
wine.
It's still opening up. So, yeah, and what has happened in the last half hour of this wine being open, it's rounded out more, it's developed. I'm getting a lot more like bright cherry flavors. But the amazing thing, it's bright and fresh still. When we first opened it, I had a little mustiness in the background of this one. A little mustiness in the nose and on the palate. That has dissipated totally. And it's just opening up, more balanced. The dark cherry flavors turn to red cherry, more like a lollipop cherry.
I just associate with an older wine. It's not a negative thing. There's no way of faulting this wine. This wine, I mean, it has the bouquet, it has the follow through. I mean, the palate is incredible.
Nice acidity to it.
Oh,
I mean, the acidity is still bright and fresh. Like we did open the old Sebastiani. What I expect that to be like.
This is what I expect. You know, a good bottle of wine for me. That would be a Bordeaux. You know, in the good range. You know, like a particular year that was very, you know, notable. It has like a keenness and a power to it that I associate with the 82 Moutons. You know, because that would be a young wine, but it still has that velvetiness. You know, and follow through that you expect with you know, a first growth, a quality wine, you know, that's up there.
And I'll tell you, Barbera's, what's so unusual about this particular bottle is from Italy, from Piedmont, the Piemonte, however you want to pronounce it, in northern Italy, where this grape comes from, they would never last this long.
No.
d'Asti or Barbera d'Able would not last this long. I've never had one this old in this kind of condition, California no less. It's just amazing.
Well, it's hard to find any old ones past 45. When I was over there, one of my favorite stories is, you know, I asked them, I says, well, let's drink some of the really old bottles. And they got mad at me because all the Americans drank them up, you know, during the war. So, but this is for California. I have to admit that Steve's right. I mean, you are.
It's incredible.
It's past. It is better than any Italian for age. Italians are great in mid-range and young. I'm not fond of them on the older, you know, really old, like I like.
Yeah, and this being about like a Nebbiolo or Barolo or something, I would accept being get better with age. But the Barbera, a couple of years under its belt is how you're supposed to drink it.
Right,
5 years old,
yeah,
6 years
5
old,
to
4,
10,
depending on the vintage and
you
the
don't
produce.
push it, right?
Yeah.
It's one of those nouveaux. So, you know, I'm very surprised. No, as we said before, you know, I mean, somehow it brought a smile to his face. So, I mean, he knew that this had it. But he is one of the better collectors that I've met through the fortunate of this business. So.
He kind of seems a little sloppy in a sense sometimes, or like
his
that.
conditions in his wine cellar are sloppy.
Yeah.
For his collection is not.
Yeah, no, not at all.
His picks
but
are incredible.
then his wines, like this is an example.
Yeah.
You figure, oh, that's
We would never-
deteriorated, you da-da-da-da, and it comes out great.
And it's not a wine you would expect to give you a first growth quality, right? You know, you have to understand our philosophy. Steve and I agree on this. You know, it starts from the grape and goes right through. So you have to like understand that certain vineyards in the, you know, Bordeaux and Burgundy areas are so old and so refined that you can't imagine the kind of grapes that they produce. So it's hard to match that, you know, all that experience. And you get into a California wine, and especially 68, right? That we honestly have to say, I do, you know, I won't speak for Steve, but it'll match anything out there. This won't match anything
it
out
really will.
It's
And
incredible.
California these days is a little different than it was in 1968. Now they have more developed vineyards. They have more terroir
Expertise,
involved,
everything.
where they know what grapes more and what vineyards and what particular AVAs areas. Like it's in the American government.
It's all when I was in Europe one time, and this is quite a while back in the 80s, right? And that's really where the transition started to come. I was visiting Gaia, who has winnest Italian wines you could ever imagine. And,
In the area that this grape grows from.
right,
comes
and
from.
Angelo introduced me. He goes, you got to meet these people, right, who I'm training, right, in Italian wines and how to produce Barbaruscos, Barolas, and the whole range. And actually, he has a great cabernet and stuff. I mean, Angelo has a full range of wines, for sure. And he's my favorite Italian winemaker. But here's all these people, you know, particularly from Oregon, and he was training them how to produce, you know, great. And they did learn. They came back, and wine has moved up such a notch that we actually, I feel, you know, even as this French wine snob that I'm known for, we can compete. You know, this wine could compete anywhere. I mean,
And I'm
I have to
noticing
say that.
over the years, opening with another friend too that has a great collection of California wines. Some of them are just incredible and they age so well. You know, what we used to say 20, 30 years ago, how they would never be up to the French or the Italians with this.
Yeah, I said that quite too much. I apologize.
Yeah, I apologize too. California's great. With my friend Mark, we had the 1969 Chaparral Cabernet Sauvignon, their
Right.
first vintage. Incredible. One of the best California wines I ever had. We drank about a year ago. So in 2007 we drank that. It was
Yeah, it was-
drinking like another surprise like this.
Oh yeah, we've had some incredible surprises, and you know, this cellar so far is definitely up there.
And you know, another thing we should mention about opening an older bottle like this is it's opened and it's developing, and now I feel it's hit its level of the plateau. It's not gonna, this is open now. It's not gonna open up anymore.
No.
And then you have a window of opportunity with an older wine. It starts fading quickly too. It starts deteriorating and going downhill. So now
We have to drink.
we almost
fast, is
have
what
to
he's
speed
saying.
up our drinking. We may not be able to talk to you too much anymore. We'll just have to get down to drinking.
No, but he's actually right, because like the oxidation, that's what happens when you open the
Starts
bottle.
happening
It comes down to
quickly.
the basics. You know, the oxygen gets in there. It starts changing the flavors, and there's a point where there's certain flavors that you like in any particular wine, especially in old wines. And Steve and I, knowing what we both like because we get along so well, it's in that range, you know, from when you first open it a few minutes till where we consider that the oxidation is no longer to our palate. And we have probably about less than an hour to finish this off,
Yeah, I would
probably
say.
a half hour.
Yeah, that's what I would say, because it's been
Yeah.
open for about 40 minutes already.
Yeah,
now,
we're
so
pushing
that's-
it on that. But it's so excellent, I think it can hold for that. But you really have to understand, it's like opening a bottle or champagne. Now, I love champagnes, vintage champagnes. I mean, that's really my specialty. Because of the complexity of, you know, how the bubbles develop and stuff, right? And it's really like there's a softness to it, you know. So there's like points in like when champagne just tastes better, and there's points where all wines just taste better.
It's their peak in the cellar as aging it, and then when you open it, when the bottle's developing, open. And we're at the peak for this one right now, I would predict. That's my guesstimate.